Calaroga Shark Media.
Oh my God, Golden Globes are killing me. They didn't give out the Stand-Up Comedy Award till 10:20 p.m. I am Johnny Mack with your daily comedy news. We actually have some pretty big stories about Bowen Yang and John Mulaney and David Letterman. We'll do that after the break. But the Golden Globes, a nice job, Nikki Glaser. The crowd there clearly likes her. She's both one of them, but enough of an outsider that she can still land jokes. And I thought she just did a great job on the monologue. It was a by-the-numbers monologue. And what I mean, it was just very old school. You take your time and you go, and George Clooney's here. And the camera switches to George Clooney, and you tell a George Clooney joke, and you have some fun with that. And you go, and it's great to see so-and-so. And she did that, and she had the timing down, and the jokes were well-tested. Really, really good. She opened up with a pretty fantastic joke about A-listers.
I cannot believe the amount of star power we have in this room tonight. It's insane. There are so many A-listers. And by A-listers, I do mean people who are on A-lists that has been heavily redacted. But yes. And the Golden Globe for Best Editing goes to the Justice Department.
But the joke that everybody's talking about is this one. I won't even spoil it. Here's Nikki Glaser.
And the award for most editing goes to CBS News. Yes. CBS News, America's newest place to see BS News.
Now, something was going on the internet last night, because normally with these things, I can grab like a lot of clips on the fly. And I don't know if the Golden Globes police were shutting them down. Clips were a little hard to come by last night. So I don't have a lot of Nikki's monologue for you. At one point, she made a joke to George Clooney about having trouble with her Nespresso machine. You may recall George did Nespresso ads at some point. And George laughed at it. And I keep coming back to Joe Coy and Taylor Swift, and was like, all you had to do, Taylor, was smile at the joke, which is what Clooney did. And now everyone's having a good time, and we move around. There were also some good jokes about Leo DiCaprio. Now, Nikki had said that she wasn't going to make Leo jokes, but she did. Let's listen.
You've worked with every great director. You've won 3 Golden Globes, an Oscar. And the most impressive thing is that you were able to accomplish all of that before your girlfriend turned 30. I mean, it's just insane. Leo, I'm sorry I made that joke. It's cheap. You know what? I tried not to, but like, we don't know anything else about you, man. Like, there's nothing else. Like, open up. I'm serious. I searched. The most in-depth interview you've ever given was in Teen Beat magazine in 1991. Is your favorite food still pasta, and more pasta? Look it up. That's real.
Leo did smile at them. Again, Taylor Swift, just smile at the camera and don't kill the room. As I was prepping the show, it was interesting. I was sourcing everywhere. The British tabloids were writing, and this is not true. I was watching the TV. The British tabloids said that the CBS News joke and the A-list joke got mixed reactions in the room. I don't think so at all. I think the British coverage of the Golden Globes is a little loaded there. I think the room really liked Nikki. During her monologue, she did joke about Michael B. Jordan. I don't have the clip, but she made a good joke about Jordan playing 2 brothers in the movie, and then said, am I allowed to say that? And then she said playing twins, and then tagged it with, I can't believe we got 2 Michael B. Jordans. When I saw that, I was like Nikki B. Jerkin, because that was awesome. That got Michael B. Jordan's mother caught on camera making a face. On to the awards. Adam Sandler, robbed. I'm so upset at this. Best Supporting Male Actor in a Motion Picture went to Stellan Skarsgård, not Adam Sandler, for his wonderful performance in Jay Kelly. Now listen, Hollywood industry, we need to reward Adam Sandler. If he's going to be good in things like Jay Kelly and Uncut Gems, we need to reward him, or he's just going to make Jack and Jill 2, okay? Please give Adam Sandler an award. Oscars, are you listening? This is very important. Jean Smart wins Best Actress in a Television Series, Musical, or Comedy. It's her 3rd win out of 4 nominations for Hacks. Seth Rogen won Best Performance by a Male Actor in a Television Series, Musical, Comedy, or Hollywood Celebrating Themselves. No surprise. Hollywood loves the studio, so of course they're going to give it to Seth Rogen. As the telecast moved on, if you watched it, there were announcers, so not just Nikki hosting, but in and out of the commercials or when the winners were walking up, there were announcers. So one comment on the internet, Kevin Frazier and Mark Malkin are not snappy or funny enough to be additive, and they're also too awkward and bland to feel like a meaningful way to get more information across to the viewer. They have no point of view. What's the purpose of them? I think that review nailed it. Kevin Frazier was okay. Mark Malkin was awful. As they headed into the Best Podcast Award, there was a bit about podcasts, the crux of the joke being that podcasts have a lot of commercials. My friend Mark texted me. He thought it was funny. I thought the bit was completely flat. We see Nikki Glaser in her car listening to podcasts, and Mark Maron makes an appearance. Shocking, actually. I can't believe they got Maron to do that, and Maron knocks on the window or something and tries to sell her something like a podcast ad. I can't believe they got Maron to do that. The people in the room, the Hollywood elitists with the $30,000 gift bags, listen to Saturday's show if you missed that, they didn't seem to like that podcast was an award. Like, when they gave out the nominees, it was half clapping. Probably people went to the bathroom. The winner, Amy Poehler, for Best Podcast. No, I thought this was fun. Around 9:33 p.m., I texted Mark and I wrote, "The show's dragging. If I'm producing this, I'm grabbing the best stand-up envelope and I'm writing Kevin Hart and presenting that award next to get Kevin up there to give some energy to the show." Well, they didn't quite take my note, but at 9:38 p.m. Eastern, the next presenter was indeed Kevin Hart. And I was excited. I'm like, oh, Kevin Hart, but he didn't really bring any energy to the stage. But finally, at 10:20 p.m., Wanda Sykes came up to give the award to Best Stand-Up. The nominees were Bill Maher's Is Anyone Else Seeing This?, Brett Goldstein's The Second Best Night of Your Life, Kevin Hart's Acting My Age, Kumail Nanjiani's Night Thoughts, Sarah Silverman's Postmortem, and Ricky Gervais' Mortality. Now, Wanda gets up, and she kind of annoyed me. She made a comment that people would be ticked that a black queer woman was doing the job of two mediocre white guys. Who's saying that, Wanda? Like, who's actually saying that? Who is actually sitting home going, JC... and throws the remote across the room. I can't believe Wanda Sykes is presenting an award. Who's actually doing that, Wanda Sykes? Like, I did not appreciate that comment at all. Then, as she read the nominees, thanked Ricky Gervais for not being there because if Ricky were to win, she would get to accept on his behalf, and then she would have Ricky thank God and the trans community, which was kind of funny. And the winner is Ricky Gervais, which was totally anticlimactic because he wasn't in the room. So all that was at 10:20 p.m. I'll share on tomorrow's show what Ricky Gervais had to say. We'll take the break here, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about Letterman and Mulaney and the whole Bowen Yang thing. This was a whole thing over the weekend. All right, be right back. Coming up at noon Eastern today, Comedy Survivor Week 1 results, and we'll start off Week 2 as of noon Eastern today. You'll be able to vote in the Facebook group. You'll find a cartoon of me eliminating the torch of the person who has been eliminated. I mean, of course, you go to the Facebook group before that and just count the votes yourself, but that's not fun. So the reveal is at noon today in this very feed. Okay, there was a big thing over the weekend. People basically canceled Bowen Yang. I went out for like 2 hours on Friday afternoon, and I came back and I saw Bowen Yang had been canceled. I'm like, what even happened? And I'm still not entirely sure. So as I'm reading this news article, the Las Culturistas podcast host had discussed various politicians. Matt Rogers ripped into Gavin Newsom, saying that Newsom needed to get vocal surgery if he wanted to run for president. And I think it was Rogers who said he was turned off anytime a politician is making it too obviously about themselves. That led to a conversation about Representative Jasmine Crockett, who is running for Senate in Texas. The Las Culturistas hosts apparently urged their listeners not to donate to Crockett's U.S. Senate campaign. Rogers said, quote, "And don't waste your money sending to Jasmine Crockett. Do not do it. Don't do it. You're going to waste your money." Bowen Yang apparently agreed, saying money was, quote, "hard enough to come by." Rogers then pivoted the conversation back to Newsom, and it just blew up the internet. The gist of the criticism was that they were putting down a black woman in an already hostile political environment. This got heated enough that the boys backpedaled. Matt Rogers posted, "Transparency and candor matter to me, especially on the podcast. I'm a very progressive person who cares deeply about winning these elections, but my phrasing was not right. I will be more thoughtful, ! I really do promise. I have great respect and admiration for Representative Crockett, and I regret that my words suggested otherwise." Bowen Yang said that he himself should not have weighed in on this, and promised that he would use his platform more responsibly moving forward. Now, once they apologized, then the conversation online, people seem to be mad now that the show's called Las Culturistas because neither host is Hispanic. And so I looked this up. Las Culturistas has been around since May of 2016. You had time. If you were mad about the name, you had time to bring it up before this weekend. It's just called Las Culturistas. Come on, people. David Letterman went on that Barbara Gaines thing he does sometimes when he feels like saying something but doesn't feel like producing something proper. He had some thoughts about the President of the United States.
Let's talk a little bit about Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay, I love Jimmy Kimmel.
I love Jimmy Kimmel, too. Here's the thing. What people don't understand is Jimmy Kimmel single-handedly brought the people at Disney and all of those other network television owners to their knees. Jimmy Kimmel single-handedly made them.
Critics
Well, the critics show so made them seem and appeared to be the fools they are, and continues to call attention to the plight. And also Seth Meyers, he's very good. And I'm telling you, we're running out of places where you hear these voices.
Right.
And Stephen Colbert and that franchise. Adios. And let me just say one thing. If we had a president who was a who was a Democrat, let's just say if we had a president who was a Democrat and behaved the way this Republican president is behaving, Jimmy would be attacking the Democrat president just as much as he attacks. So it's not like it's all politically driven. Mm-hmm. It's driven by the behavior of the person in the office.
David Letterman was also not kind about CBS.
By the way, what about those idiots at CBS? The CBS News is a wreck. It's just gone. Mm-hmm. CBS News for decades, going back to World War II, before World War II, they would be, Ed Murrow would be broadcasting the Blitz of London from the rooftop of buildings in London for CBS Radio. And it was that mentality that drove the integrity of CBS News that has been trampled on, pissed on, and eviscerated by these idiots that have taken it over. Yep. And I'm at a point now where it really is hurting my feelings because I'm sick and tired of people saying, oh, wait till those midterms. Kids, we're far downstream of the midterms having any effect on this.
And I'll tell you, if it weren't 10:37 p.m. on a Sunday night, and by the way, Johnny Mack had to do an airport run at 6:30 a.m. on Sunday. I would probably have a lot more to say about David Letterman, but I'm getting a little tired. So let's head for home here. John Mulaney postponed his shows in Minneapolis over the weekend. This is another thing that when I'm awake, I should probably discuss properly on Tuesday's show. John Mulaney canceled his shows in Minneapolis over the weekend as protests continued across the city, condemning the fatal shooting of Renee Nicole Good by an ICE agent. He wrote on Instagram, "What's happening in your city is heartbreaking. I hate to postpone shows in a town going through such awful challenges and such grief because it feels unfair to the audience. I'm sorry to anyone who is disappointed. I know a fun stand-up show could be a nice distraction, but it doesn't sit right with me to put anyone at risk." Tickets for the shows will be honored at the rescheduled dates, April 10th through the 12th. Again, when I'm a little more awake, I'll deal with that properly. Out today on the 800-pound gorilla, Hannah Gatsby's Woof is available to watch it. And that is your comedy news. All right, Comedy Survivor coming up at noon Eastern, a normal episode Tuesday morning. See you then.